So today we're doing a deep dive into a book that is, well, a true literary phenomenon. Hanya Yanagihara's 2015 novel, A Little Life.
It's such a paradox, isn't it?
Exactly. It's this enormous book, over 800 pages, and it deals with some of the most difficult subject matter imaginable.
And yet, it was a huge bestseller. It was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize, the National Book Award. It was everywhere.
So our mission today is to try and unpack that. We want to get into the structure, the themes, and why the reaction to it was so intense.
It's a story that's mostly set in New York City, and it follows the lives of four friends over several decades. They're grappling with success, wealth, addiction.
But at its core, it's really about trauma. Immense trauma.
That's right.
So let's start with the characters. We have these four friends who meet in college. There's Jude St. Francis. He's the center of the story.
Right.
A brilliant lawyer with a very mysterious and painful past.
And his life is sort of defined by the people closest to him. Willem, the actor, who becomes his main source of love and support.
Then you have Malcolm, the architect, and JB, the artist.
But what's so interesting is how the narrative works. It starts out, fairly balanced between the four of them.
Omniscient, almost.
Exactly. But as you go on, the lens just tightens and tightens until the entire world of the book is seen through Jude's experience, his pain.
And that pain is constant. He's disabled, lives with chronic pain, and he frequently self-harms.
All stemming from a childhood of just unimaginable abuse and exploitation.
Yeah.
Captivity, child prostitution, it's just relentless.
And then the structure does something really clever. The story is interrupted by these first-person sections from Harold.
Harold, his former professor, who eventually adopts him.
Right, and that voice is so crucial, isn't it?
It's everything. It pulls you out of Jude's head, which is such a suffocating place to be. It forces you, the reader, to see the limits of love from the outside.
Which brings us to the core theme, I think. The way it explores male relationships.
Yes. You see men who are capable of this deep, profound care like Willem and Harold, but you also see the absolute worst, the men from his past who exploited him.
And this is where it gets really controversial, because of the author's intent. Yanagihara has said she wanted to create a protagonist who, quote, never got better.
Which just flies in the face of every typical story about trauma we've ever read. The whole point is usually the recovery, the redemptive arc.
But not here. This story is about a circle of people who love Jude unconditionally, who fight for him. And it's not enough.
And Yanagihara was explicit about this. She said she believes there are points where death is preferable to life.
And that leads directly to Jude's suicide at the end of the novel, and Harold's final, heartbreaking realization.
That all his love couldn't save him.
So with a premise like that, you can imagine the critical reception was heated.
To say the least. On the one hand, you had these sweeping, positive reviews.
NPR called it an unforgettable novel about the enduring grace of friendship. The New Yorker praised how it used all the trappings of a middle-class story to deliver something truly unsettling.
But then the backlash was just as strong. Some critics really attacked the violence in the book, calling it gratuitous and manipulative.
I remember that. There was a sense that it was just too much, that it was suffering for the sake of suffering.
Right, and Andrea Longshu wrote that Pulitzer-winning piece where she accused the author of, and this is a famous line, burning her beautiful boys like ants.
Suggesting a kind of cold, authorial cruelty.
Exactly. That division, that fierce debate, is probably why the book has endured.
It's become this cultural touchstone. It was adapted into a 4-hour play.
And in a really strange turn, it was actually banned from distribution in Belarus in 2025.
Wow. It's a book that just refuses to be ignored. One reviewer called it elemental, irreducible.
I think that's right. Its power is in that rawness, that refusal to look away from pain or to offer easy answers about friendship and love.
So that really leaves you with a final thought, doesn't it? This book documents a life defined by a struggle against trauma that is never overcome, even with this incredible network of support.
So what does it tell us about human connection when a story makes the point that sometimes even absolute unconditional love is just not enough?